This incident comes from a quiet residential area near Lahore. A man named Faizan lived alone in a small rented house. He worked night shifts and usually returned home around 1:30 am. His life followed the same routine every night, until one night when something went wrong. That night, as Faizan reached home, he noticed something strange. The front door was slightly open. At first, he blamed himself. Maybe he had forgotten to lock it in his rush earlier. He stepped inside. The house was silent. Everything looked normal. The clock showed 2:07 am. Suddenly, footsteps, slow, dragging, coming from the living room. Faizan's body froze. He lived alone. With shaking hands, he turned on his phone's flashlight and slowly walked forward. And then he saw it. Someone was sitting on the sofa, head lowered, wearing old, dusty clothes. The face hidden in shadow. Faizan whispered, Who are you?" The figure slowly stood up. And that's when Faizan saw the face. It was his own. Same eyes, same scars, same expression. The thing smiled and said softly, "You left me behind, now I've come back." The lights went out instantly. The next morning, neighbors broke down the door. Faizan was found unconscious on the floor. His phone was still recording. At 2:09 am, an audio clip captured two voices. Both of them were Faizan's. These three incidents happened in different cities, different people, different locations. But one thing connects them all. They all occurred in the dead of night. Story 1. Hostel Room 313. A girls' hostel in Karachi. Room 313 had a reputation. Students claimed that late at night, someone knocked on the door, but whenever it was opened, no one was there. A student named Ayesha laughed it off as rumors. One night at 3:12 am, there was a knock. Instead of opening the door, she looked through the peephole and froze. Outside stood Ayesha herself. Same clothes, same hairstyle, same blank stare. The door was never opened. The next morning, Ayesha was found dead in the hostel bathroom, standing in front of the mirror. Story 2. The man who asks for a ride. On the Islamabad-Murree Highway, drivers tell a chilling story. After 1 am, a man appears on the roadside, asking for a lift. Whoever stops for him says the same thing. He sits silently in the back seat. After a few minutes, the temperature inside the car drops suddenly, and when the driver looks back, the seat is wet, soaked in blood. Police records reveal that 20 years ago, a man died in a hit-and-run accident on that same road. His body was never found. Story 3. The call that never ended. Rawalpindi. A family received a phone call at 2:45 am. The caller ID showed their own home landline number. They answered. Only heavy breathing could be heard. Then, a voice whispered, "I'm downstairs." They rushed downstairs. The landline phone was lying on the table. Receiver lifted. The call was still connected. No one else was in the house. This final story comes from a small apartment building in Faisalabad. The building was old, no security, no QV, just long echoing corridors that felt wrong after midnight. A university student named Hamza lived there on the 3rd floor. Hamza had a habit. Every night before sleeping, he recorded voice notes on his phone. Nothing special, just thoughts, stress, reminders. On November 14th, at exactly 1:58 am, he recorded his last note. His voice sounded calm. "It's really quiet tonight. Too quiet." 2 minutes later, at 2:00 am, another recording started automatically. Hamza never pressed record. The recording. At first, there was silence. Then, a faint sound of breathing. Not Hamza's. Slow footsteps followed. Heavy. As if someone was walking barefoot on a cold floor. Hamza's voice whispered, "Who's there?" No reply. Then a sound that still chills investigators. A second voice. Low. Distorted. Too close to the microphone. "You heard me before you saw me," Hamza screamed. The recording continued for 47 seconds. No struggle, no crash, just one final sound. Something being dragged across the floor. What they found. The next morning, neighbors complained about a strange smell. Police broke open Hamza's apartment. The door was locked from the inside. Hamza was found lying on his bed. No injuries, no blood, no signs of a fight. Cause of death? Cardiac arrest. But one detail made no sense. His phone was discovered under the bed. Still recording. And on the bedroom wall, written with something dark. "You are not alone." Forensics confirmed it wasn't blood. It was burn marks. This incident comes from Multan. A newly married couple, Usman and Sarah, moved into a small rented house. The area was quiet. Too quiet. Usman worked night shifts, so to make Sarah feel safe, he installed 2 CCTV cameras inside the house. One in the living room, one facing the bedroom door. Every night, before leaving, Usman checked the cameras. Nothing ever happened. Until one night at 2:34 am. The notification. Usman was at work when his phone vibrated. Motion detected. Bedroom camera. That made no sense. Sarah had gone to sleep hours ago. Usman opened the live feed, and his blood ran cold. Sarah was sleeping on the bed, completely still. But in the corner of the room, someone was standing. Tall, unnaturally thin. Its head slightly tilted, as if studying her. Usman tried calling Sarah. No answer. He watched helplessly as the figure slowly raised its head and looked directly into the camera. The screen glitched. The feed went black. What Sarah heard. At 2:36 am, Sarah woke up suddenly, not from a sound, but from the feeling that someone was breathing near her face. She opened her eyes. The room was dark. Too dark. She reached for her phone. That's when she heard a whisper right next to her ear. "He can see us, but he can't stop me." Sarah screamed. The power in the house went out. The aftermath. Neighbors heard screaming and broke into the house. Sarah was found unconscious. The bedroom camera was destroyed, crushed inward, as if someone had squeezed it by hand. Police reviewed the living room camera. It showed Sarah entering the bedroom alone. No one followed her. But at 2:33 am, one final frame appeared. A shadow moving out of the bedroom. Crawling. On the ceiling. 4 chapters. 4 nights. Different cities. Different people. But the same hour. The same silence. And the same mistake. They all believed they were alone. But the dead of night is never empty. It listens when the world sleeps. It watches when the lights go out. Sometimes it knocks. Sometimes it calls. Sometimes it stands quietly in the corner of your room, waiting for you to notice. And when you finally do, it's already too close. So tonight, if your phone starts recording by itself, if your door knocks with no one outside, if your camera sends an alert at 2 am, don't assume it's a glitch. Because some things don't need doors to enter. They don't need permission. They only need silence. And once you hear them, they've already found you. Good night.